Let's go to Tom Piotrowski. Good morning to you, Tom. How are things?
Pete, you're kind to inquire. Really well.
All right, that's good to know. How are our markets looking today?
Well, we took a little bit of a knock yesterday. We were down by around a little under 0.5%, and we're going to reclaim and add to that, Pete, today. The futures are telling us we'll be up by 0.75% when trade gets underway. So that's a reflection of a recovery for US stocks. You might recall yesterday they took a knock on the back of a sell-off for chip makers in particular. So today we've got the Nasdaq up by 1/3%, the S&P 500 up by 0.5%, the Dow Jones up by around 0.75%. Bearing in mind we're not quite at the end of the session, but nonetheless the chip group, which was marked down heavily yesterday, hasn't really bounced back. It's stabilised more than anything else. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index is up by about 1/3%. Nvidia shares are up by 5%. They were down yesterday, but ASML, the organisation that created the rout, it's still down 7%. It's fallen by the better part of 25% in the last couple of days. So important to watch that organisation because they are a very important part of the ecosystem when it comes to global chip makers. But nonetheless, we've seen better earnings. United Airlines shares were up by 14%, having bettered expectations. Morgan Stanley and the investment bank also did well with its earnings. So it was up by around 7% a short time ago. So that's the important aspect of things at the moment, that the earnings picture holds together, Pete, because the economy is doing well. There's a discussion about lower rates. This is the important picture of the puzzle that needs to size up as we head into the end of the year. Today's an important day in local terms because of the September unemployment report, Pete. If there is any skerrick of hope that a rate cut emerges between now and the end of the year, these figures need to be soft. And the problem is that they were quite strong last month. There's every chance that they might also be quite solid today. So what we're looking for is 25,000 jobs to have been added to the economy and the unemployment rate to come in at around 4.2%.
How's the wrist, Tom? The wrist is full health?
It's recovering well, Pete. Thank you very much. And it gives me an opportunity to thank the remarkable people that looked after me whilst I had a broken wrist.
You didn't go back to the tie? You haven't gone back to the tie? You're going to keep it open neck?
Look, I'm open to guidance on this, Pete. I think the trend seems to be for a more casual appearance these days.
Yeah.
But
you do. I mean, I'm not complaining. You do rugged better than anyone I've ever seen. It works.
I must admit, I didn't expect the conversation to go in this direction. I'm happy.
You should know by now that our chats can go any which way but loose.
Okay, maybe I'll have certain days that are marked by a tie.
Yeah, we'll see.